Yeah, I think that's some good insight there. I do want to pivot to something that we were talking about earlier today. Tell me a little bit about your absolutely ridiculous conspiracy theory that St. Louis has paid off the teams that they've played so far to help earn a couple of free goals, and for that reason, you think St. Louis is actually a garbage team.
That is not my take in the slightest.
I don't
All I'm
know.
saying,
That's
and it's
that's what it sounded like earlier today.
listen, you're just a hater. So all I was saying, and I mentioned it earlier in the episode, is you cannot rely on this team to keep being handed goals. So I ran down a list of their goals here. In Austin, Kip Keller lost his mark on a corner kick, and Tim Parker headed home. Kip Keller passed the ball back to Jared Stroud for a one-on-one goal, and Kip Keller decided to be a rookie again. And instead of getting himself set and forcing Klaus to the outside, just ran directly by him for the goal. Then you go to the game against Charlotte. You had an own goal, a penalty, and oh yeah, the pass back from Milanda that just walked you right in on goal. I like the high press. I like the system that they have going. I think they create a ton of chances. They're creating the own goal. They're creating the penalty, right? They're creating these issues. But you take away the luck aspect of it, right? Crossing the ball, hitting somebody in their hand is not going to happen every time you cross the ball. The serving a ball into the box and having somebody head it into his own net is not going to happen every game. The constant center back passing to your striker for a one-on-one with their goalkeeper is not going to happen every day. So while they're creating these chances, I'm not 100% sold on their attack just yet. Yes, they have 6 goals in 2 games, but the goals aren't like, oh my goodness, I can't, this team is going to win everything because they're moving the ball so brilliantly and nobody's touching it. There's a lot of luck involved. And as they say in the footballing world, it's better to be lucky than good, but you can't be lucky for 34. So I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm saying that you can't look into them being a supporter shield favorite right now because their results they've been good in terms of getting their points, but their results have not been indicative of great play. It's been indicative of getting some lucky bounces, and lucky bounces again. That is the mark of a good team is when the bounces go your way. So it's good that they're going their way. They're getting their feet set. They're getting themselves ready to go. I just don't buy into this team or is a bunch of world beaters in year one until I see a couple more games where they've worked out, where other teams are not feeding them goals. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, teams are obviously going to make mistakes throughout games. It's going to be extremely rare to come up against teams that are going to make no mistakes in game. And obviously, I would say the way that St. Louis City plays, if teams don't make mistakes in games, they're probably going to find themselves on the losing side. But I think that that's going to be pretty rare to find. And obviously, I would agree with you that they can't rely on goals like the Keller goal or the Milanda goal, where they just literally get past the ball so that they're one on one with the keeper. But I think even if you take those goals away, because again, you can't rely on that every single game, they're still sitting on 4 points in that case, where the only drop points that they have is away at Austin, which is the team that I think both of us had topping the West this year. So I think that their their style of play is definitely going to have ups and downs, but I think that it's been working very well so far. And I definitely want to give the St. Louis team credit because I think they've been playing really well. I mean, they're getting their chances and they're absolutely finishing them. I mean, teams get chances every game for the most part. And there's a lot of times where they'll just continuously not take their chances and they come to ruin at the end of the game because the other team took their chances. I feel like St. Louis has been the team taking their chances so far. They're making the most of these mistakes when they happen. And because of that, they're sitting on 6 points out of 2 games and one of the top teams in the West at the moment. Again, obviously, really small sample size, but I think that to some degree they can still rely on creating mistakes from teams throughout the season. It's just a question of how lethal are they going to stay in taking these opportunities when they come to them.
So I'm not sitting here saying that they are a bad team. I want to make that clear. What I'm saying is it's don't get all hyped that they've won 2 games and think that they're going to go off and be, world beaters, because they're not just yet. Because if anybody knows the downfalls of a high press system, it's this guy right here. Okay? So be excited, be hopeful, but don't get overhyped because your dreams will be crushed. That
Like, I don't
makes
think
sense,
anybody
right?
thinks St. Louis is. I don't think anybody thinks Louis is going to be like the next team challenging for supporter shield, but I think they should absolutely have every right to get hyped and get excited about their team. I mean, they're brand new. They're coming in off 2 wins. They've been playing exciting football while they've been doing it. Scoring 3 goals in both games is it doesn't get much more exciting than that. Even if they're conceding 3 in 2 games as well, it's if you're scoring 6 in those 2 games, it's going to be super exciting to watch. It's going to get the fans interested. It's going to keep them engaged to watch their team score loads of goals. I get it. Obviously, you don't want to get too high on this being a sustainable tactic and something that's going to work for 34 games across the whole season. But I feel like they should have every right to get excited for this team and back them. Even though it's unrealistic, let them believe that they have a shot to go top the West and compete for the title
Yeah, yeah.
until
Like I
they're
said,
proven otherwise.
yeah, and I think that fans are absolutely bought in and they're very hyped. I mean, you could see what happened during opening day, right? The expansion side had the stands rocking, the crowd was singing, and the chants were flying, right? Sold out 22K stadium. It looked great. People are bought into the team. I don't think anybody's hiding. I don't think anybody's disagreeing. But from a neutral point, it's one of those don't, to me, you know, I don't want to see what MLS does with LAFC where they win 1 game. It's like LAFC are never losing for the next 10 years because I don't need to see that. And I don't think they're going to get it because it's not an LAFC level uh, demographic, for lack of a better term, right? Like the New York City, the LA, they get the big hype and all this stuff. Whereas St. Louis
Yeah,
can
it's
go
St. Louis
can
versus
go
Los
and win.
Angeles.
Right, exactly. And which is why I think that they'll actually be better off without all that hype, because then they don't have to keep reading about, oh my God, we're the best team ever. They just keep their nose to the ground. They keep going. I'm excited for them. I'm excited to watch what they can do. Um, but I'm not bought in just yet.
Because you're a hater.
Okay.